all the time, it was a camel with 3 humps.
There you go. Come on, everybody. We see you out there. It's time for Comics by Night. We got a great book for you today. And one I'm sure Glenn's going to tell us all about here in just a minute.
Set up.
Here's the opening, I think. Yeah.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with you.
That's how I'm feeling this morning. Exactly how I'm feeling. Come on in, folks. It's Comics by Night. We're here on the Indie Comics Network, the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel, the Randy Zim YouTube channel. We're real happy that you're here. I'm your host, Randy Zimmerman. You can find my work over at arrowcomics.store, where you can find right now, if you're fast enough, you can get a copy of the Shadow Kingdom while they last. There's only a few left up there. We've already sold a couple, so yeah, just got to warn you, the supplies are limited. We did a campaign for this a few months ago, which was very successful. Very proud of this work. It's a classic Robert E. Howard story featuring Cull and Brule, and it's just a great tale that I got to break down and adapt, and Russ went through and did the artwork on. It's very beautiful. Also over there you can find copies of Hero Bot Zero too, which is a book that I did on my own about a 3-foot tall giant robot, and all sorts of other books like The Fool is over there. A bunch of other stuff and stuff that I didn't have a hand in, but Arrow Comics is the company that we print under. We're really proud of the books that are over there. Great entertaining stuff. So go over there and take a look. arrowcomics.store. So also joining me this morning is Mr. Glenn Fleming. Glenn, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Glenn Fleming. I'm a writer, artist, and publisher. You can find my stuff all over Amazon, including this book I wrote about my visits to see the late, great Jack Kirby. Went over a couple of times to see him and his wife. You can read all about that. It's all documented with lots of photographs of me with Jack and everything in there. I also publish Comics Unlimited, which is a 100-page magazine about comics, surprisingly, given the title. This comes out every now and again, but I'm not sure whether it's actually going to appear. I think we might have finished, but anyway, you can get those on Amazon. And if you go to fundmycomic.com, you'll be able to get a copy of my annotated Hatch book. Hatch is a character I created many years ago, and you can read all about his story in there. So check it out.
Yeah. Also joining us this morning, Mr. Russ Leach. Russ, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Russ Leach. I'm a comic book artist from the UK. As Randy said, we're on a mission to bring Robert E. Howard to the masses. That's what we do with the Shadow Kingdom, and we're currently in production of the Atlantean, which is the further adventures of Cull and Brule from the Shadow Kingdom. So if you want to find out more about that, you can go to russleach.com and sign up for the email list there. I can show you a current piece of artwork if you want. There you go.
There it is.
There we go. So there's the chapter head of chapter 2, and they're on their journey now.
Oh, there's that woman.
There's that woman. Oh yeah, they've taken her on the journey with her.
Oh yeah, like you do. Yeah.
It's always nice to have a packed lunch.
Yes.
No, she's an integral part of the story, and she's leading them on a merry journey as they.
As she's smiling there, yeah.
As she's smiling there because she's talking about a goddess, and she's they're on their way to find out more about the Lizard Kingdom, the Lizard Men, the Shadow Kingdom, as told off in the book, and they come up against some nasty stuff. So,
that was new. I hadn't seen that penciled one before.
Oh, the pencil one. That's the pin up. That's the pin up for the book. So I'll be I'll be inking that soon. But pages are more important, and we'll be going to crowdfunding end of this month, and I'll be able to show the cover really, really soon. There you go. That's that.
Yeah.
So sign up for the email list at russleach.com for more about that.
Yep. He said it right after he smacked his camera. Yeah.
Don't smack your camera.
Like to smack something. All right. Today we're going to be looking at Charlie's War. Pat Mills and Joe.
It's pronounced Colquhoun.
I'm glad I waited.
And I have that on, not from the guy himself, but somebody who worked with him. Joe Colquhoun. It's an Irish name.
Cool. Joe Colquhoun.
Yeah, it started out as an opposite to DC Thompson's Battle Picture Library. Oh no, sorry, it was in Battle Picture Library, and it was Warlord was out and with great success. That DC Thompson,
yeah,
and they got Pat Mills, who's he's like Britain's Stan Lee, isn't he, Russ?
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and he and Joe didn't complete the stories, but we'll talk about that later. It came out in 1975. It's that long ago. What's that, nearly 50 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
50 years ago. And it ran for 10 years until October 85.
I just know it's a World War I story, and it got very high acclaim when it was out. So.
Yeah, it's about a guy called Charlie Bourne. He's 16 when he joins up, and just a few weeks before the Somme, and I think his baptism is the Battle of the Somme, which, I mean, somebody obviously went through that, but could you imagine that being 16 years old?
Yeah.
And you end up in a trench at the Somme, especially the Somme. You know what happened there. So it covers that kind of thing. It's more of an anti-war comic, really, than a war comic. Pat Mills is a very sort of opinionated guy, and he's not scared to tell you what he thinks, which I think is good. And it's more of an anti-war strip than a war strip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's one of the it's like all the best stories. It's not actually about the First World War. It's about characters who find themselves in that situation. Do you understand what I mean? It's not just a war story. It's Charlie's story.
And Rogue Trooper. Trooper was anti-war. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, the entire comic 2000 AD really is, isn't it? I mean,
it is. Very anti-establishment, one would say.
And Dredd is obviously a fascist, as we know.
Even though you love him,
he's great, isn't he?
We love him, even though, it's a dichotomy in that book.
But you know what that tells you, don't you?
Yeah, that we're all fascists at heart.
Yeah.
But at least we'll keep the trains running on time, eh?
Yes. We are looking at the Titan reprint book. The fantastic Titan did a big round of great reprint books during the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. They did these. Yeah,
did just a marvelous job reprinting works from 2000 AD and the magazines around them. I'm looking for a print date on this right now, and I can't find it.
See, Joe Colquhoun for me has got one of those. Got one of those great styles that's sort of halfway between realistic and cartoon. It's somewhere in the middle. And the from my point of view, you know what I think about the weapons and things. It's very well researched. And I like that kind of detail. Just for the incidental, for like on the buckles on the belt and that kind of thing. To make it authentic. Joe obviously he either spent a lot of time researching this or he already knew. I suspect it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah. March 1983 is when this was printed. Joe Colquhoun, the artist, has worked for IPC magazines for over 30 years. In the 50s and mid and 60s, he drew mainly for Champion, Lion, and Tiger, which are comic magazines over there, right?
Yeah, but they were, yeah.
though its personal favorite was a soccer spoof in JAG called Football Family. Oh, Football Family Robinson.
Yeah. Well, he's got there in Lion, Paddy Payne. I remember when I was a kid, because nobody knew who drew these things when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Stan Lee sort of brought that in the American comics, and in British comics, they still never told you who was who. And I always remember Paddy Payne was my favourite in the Lion, and then found out that it was Joe Colquhoun who was the artist later. But Paddy Payne's about a Spitfire pilot. It's really good. It's really good. Check it out.
So 2000 AD were one of the first to do that, weren't they? Properly.
Yeah. Give the credits.
They made a big deal out of it. Yeah.
All by putting a little card down at the bottom of the first page.
Art robot and things like that.
Art robot.
I'd have loved to have been an art robot.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Says he spent his early 70s working on humor strips for Buster and Coral. Oh, Core.
Yeah, they're exclamation marks. Those.
Cool.
Over
That's
here,
how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah, people say, "Cool, look at that."
Cool, look at
Don't
that.
know. Don't know where it comes from.
No, I don't know either. And it could be for anything that's any kind of
Exclamation, really.
It's an exclamation at the start of the sentence, isn't it? That's what it is. Go on, look at that car.
It says here, core, exclamation, British informal. It's expressing surprise, excitement, admiration, or alarm, as in, core, that's a beautiful black eye you've got.
That's very British, isn't it? God, that's a beautiful black eye.
And it says origin 1930s, alteration of God. So you know, like people say G's, don't they now, instead of Jesus?
Yeah.
So it's that. It's God. Well, I've just learned something myself there.
Blimey, there you go. Yeah, well, and the word blimey after it as well.
That's right.
Blimey.
Yeah. They are folks. It's an education program. This.
There you go. That's why we're here. He began work on Battle in 1976. For 2 years, he drew Johnny Red, scripted by Tom Tully. 76, he took on Charlie's War, which he is still currently drawing as of this printing back in 83.
Yeah, he died in 1987, Joe Colquhoun.
Okay.
So just a couple of years after this.
So Pat Mills has been jointly responsible, along with John Wagner, for the renaissance of British comics in the 70s. To the creation of Battle Action in 2000 AD, he has scripted almost every character in 2000 AD and is currently writing Nemesis and Slain for 2000 AD, the ever popular Charlie's War for Battle, and co-writer John Wagner did Doctor Who for BBC television. The story of a soldier in World War I. Britain wants you to join your country's army and save the king. Is that where we got the Uncle Sam poster?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, I think that poster was around, obviously, different text. I think it was around in the Zulu thing in South Africa, I think, in the 1880s. I think so. Yeah. I might be wrong.
Isn't that supposed to be Lord Kitchener or something?
That is, yeah. But there's another one with another guy on, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's been around a while.
And here we just have old man Uncle Sam. So.
God save the king.
God, it's relevant now, isn't it?
Yeah. It is again, yeah.
Whenever I hear that, I can only ever think, or God save the Queen, I can only ever think of Billy Connolly.
Oh, yeah.
When he's talking Grumpty Dumpty Dumpty, so he's talking about the
archers.
He's talking about the national anthem. That's it. No, I haven't got a problem with the words. God save the Queen.
When he said you get,
she should be saved, of course, and God, the very man to do it.
You should say, "Core, save the king."
Core, save the king. Core, save the king.
Sounds like the next big barbarian book.
Core. The mighty core. Look at that. Look at that artwork, isn't it?
It's just gorgeous, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's great.
Again, do you reckon this stuff is large size? Do you reckon
Yeah,
the actual
yeah,
original artwork is bigger?
yeah. I'd say at
Um,
least 1.5 times up, if not more.
Yeah,
Well, say more than one and a half. Yeah, I mean, look at the line weights.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
yeah.
The only thing
Fantastic
that lets
stuff.
it down is the lettering. It's that
It's
type,
dodgy, isn't it?
it's typeset, isn't it?
Typeset lettering.
It's it's just fantastic.
Oh yeah, here too.
Yeah.
The written stuff, the cursive stuff is done by hand, but the rest of that's all typeset. And yeah.
And the
stuff-
bubbles are hideous.
Yeah.
It's all thrown on after the event, isn't it?
Mm.
It's all, just thrown on in the office. It's not good.
Yeah.
Just look past it.
Yeah.
Look at the art.
The thing is with Charlie Bourne is that he's not the brightest person around. He's one of those. I can never work this out. I won't call them idiots, but I could never do this. A lot of those guys were underage.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go and do their bit,
Yeah,
Mhm.
their bit for the country. That was just the way people thought back then, wasn't it?
And in this, Charlie thinks how difficult. Somewhere he thinks it, or he says it to somebody. How difficult can it be to fight from a trench?
Yeah.
Well,
there you go. But he's your average bloke, isn't he? That's
Yeah.
the point.
yeah,
He's
Yeah.
not a superhero. He's not a fantastic fighter. He's not
yeah. He's not the
super
best
soldier.
looking guy. He's just
No,
just
he's
a
just a
lad,
bloke. Yeah.
Yeah.
George is in the house. This beautiful art.
G'day, George.
Hope you're doing well, George. Thanks for watching us. Appreciate
See,
you.
the thing is with the First World War, was that it was the first mechanized war.
Yeah.
And the generals in charge, like that Haig guy who was at the Somme, he must have been about 60 at the time, and he was very, very experienced, career soldier, and he'd fought in South Africa and places like that. But his mentality was to walk, and the guys at the Somme is like a horseshoe hill, and with the valley, and the 60,000 of our troops, which is like a football ground full of people, were told they bombarded the horseshoe of the ring, the horseshoe hill, where they knew the Germans were. But the Germans were dug in about 20 feet below the ground, and they were pounded for about 3 weeks. And the Germans must have been going out of their minds with all the noise and everything, but they were pounded. And then when the guns stopped, the troops are coming. So when the guns stopped, the troops pulled up their Maxim machine guns, the big machine guns with the belt on, and in a horseshoe shape. And our 60,000 of our soldiers were told by Haig and the general just to walk into the area, and they just literally chopped them down, because Haig and the generals were coming from a horse warfare, where the biggest thing, the fastest thing you had was a horse.
Yeah,
well, these guys,
they just had guns and swords.
That's right.
Well.
And they were fighting people with spears.
Yeah,
and the Germans had this machine gun, this Maxim machine gun that just was firing 1,000 rounds a minute and just knocked it. They just literally 60,000, or I think it was 25,000 men dead, and 50,000 casualties in an hour.
It's hideous.
Can you imagine that? And can you imagine that walking through a field full of barbed wire, shell holes, barbed wire, in the mist because of the gun, the smoke from the blast. So you couldn't see anything, and then an hour from now, 25,000 guys were dead in that small area.
Yeah,
imagine that. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine how anybody got through it. But anyway, that's where Charlie is now. He's in the trench at the Somme, waiting to go over the top. But it's just fun. Look at that on the right hand side where he's blowing halfway down the page, where he's getting blown over. Isn't that a fantastic illustration?
Yeah, the lighting in that. Yeah,
it's absolutely fantastic. Look at that aerial shot with all the craters as well.
Yeah,
Again,
Almost.
he's got to be drawing 2 up here. It's like
Yeah,
look at look at the cross hatching on the hat right at the top of the page.
yeah,
And his helmet. God.
Yeah. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Mm.
Look at that.
That is line work, yeah.
And all the better for not being in color.
It's like a white zip screen back here.
Right.
Little, just enough of a touch. Yeah, I think you're right. That would have had to have been 2 up.
It's got to be.
Yeah,
because we're looking at the cusp here for British artwork. I mean, this was published in '83. When was Charlie's War originally published?
75.
Right. Well, there you go. So I think people were still, in Britain, our comic book artists in '75 hadn't been taken to the States.
That's right. Yeah.
They weren't working in the same way as the guys in the States were working. So they were still working to, the standards that had been set up by the Eagle and what have you. That kind of. So we was before we hit 2000 AD. I think 2000 AD had started. I think they started using smaller boards in 2000 AD.
Right.
But that was just because they wanted to get the job done. I mean, a lot of Brian Bolland's work it's not 2 up. But it's, as great and as detailed and as wonderful as Brian Bolland's work is, this is just that little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I come back to the same. I say this every time. I've never seen an original of this stuff, but I would love to know how. I'd love to watch Joe doing this. See how he approached it, and how long it took him, because he's doing pencil and inks here, as British artists always do.
Right.
But it's just incredible work, and like I said, so well researched for the gear and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the other thing is, he'd have had to have looked every time, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
and
don't forget. And don't forget, back in '75, it's a trip to the library a few times. He's got the internet to pull all this up.
Or a nice bookshelf collection of.
Or a nice bookshelf.
Yeah.
But even so, he can't just put it up on the screen, and he's got to.
Not something you could Google or Bing at the time. Yeah.
That's right.
It's part of the reason why John Buscema loved drawing Conan so much.
Yeah.
You could make it up.
Yeah, he didn't have to bother about somebody pulling up a piece of reference that showed his drawing was wrong.
No, it's like Conan wandered around most of the time in a furry loincloth.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going to his studio and saying, "Hey, John, you got this wrong," and he'd just look at you, wouldn't he?
Get out!
Get out of here!
There's only one person that's wrong here, and you're on the way out the door.
Oh, let me tell you. Let me give you a bit of trivia. You see that German sniper?
Which one?
Well, it's the same guy, isn't it? That one, yeah.
That one.
See that face plate they had?
Oh,
he's got a face plate. Well, those bolts at the front of his helmet? You see, when you see German soldiers in the First World War, they have these massive bolts on the helmet. Mm-hmm. And it's basically for clipping your gas mask to. Because I was wondering what they were for. But then they adapted it for the sniper, like that guy, to have a face shield, so that if a British sniper saw him, he couldn't shoot him in the face. And that's what those bolts were for. But if you look at First World War Germans, they've got big bolts, and like I said, it's to clip the gas mask to. Mm-hmm. And our guys didn't have that, so But anyway, somebody worked out this. They sort of stopped using the mustard gas because somebody worked out that the wind often blew it back.
That was the big problem, with biological warfare.
Because that's what happened with Hitler. He was gassed twice. Hitler, he nearly died several times. Because he was a decorated soldier. He was a runner, and he was running between trenches with messages being shot at by snipers and all sorts of stuff. I'm not making him into a great guy. He was a bastard, but I'm just saying he was a decorated soldier.
Yeah.
Like he gets shot in the head and it bounces off the helmet and he says, "Blimey."
Blimey.
it needs a patang, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bang. Blimey. What was that? It was a bullet. Oh, blimey. What are you going to do, eh? Getting shot at by Germans. Apples and pears, apples and pears.
Now, I'll tell you something I do know, that Joe Colquhoun inked this entirely with a brush. Don't you just say to him?
Yes.
Some of that line work looks like, if it's not a zip screen or a dual shade screen, that it's very intricate. Looks like it was done by a pen. No?
Well, that's what I heard, so I don't know.
Probably used both.
I think he's probably like Wally Wood. Wally Wood did most things 99% with a brush. I don't think he's that good.
Yeah.
Not got time to find that other pen. He just uses what he's got in his hand. Look at that guy's putting the notch up on the butt of his rifle. Got that barbed wire as well. Wow. Look at that.
The head, top of the helmet.
Okay. So I'll tell you a grisly story about a place called Verdun in the First World War. Do you want to hear it?
Sure. Then.
There's a place called Verdun. It's in the north of France, and there's heavy fighting there. Probably even more than the Somme, and the Somme sort of taken over in the folklore thing, you know. But anyway, this place called Verdun, British intelligence had said there were something like 20,000 Germans in this area, so they shelled it. They shelled it for 3 days, right? And when they went over to it, the British, they were getting these bodies out of the mud and everything, and there was more than 25,000. There's about 35,000, and they thought, how could our intelligence be so wrong? And then they realised that they'd blown up dead bodies that were already dead and buried as well. So they'd been blown up twice. Those guys, you know. That's how grisly it was.
It is a grisly. That was a grisly war. Well, all wars are grisly, but particularly hideous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know too much about these things. I should get rid of it.
You do.
And these are in 5-page shorts. The battle was weekly at this point.
Yeah. This seems to be the standard, doesn't it? Like for 2000 AD, everything was 4 or 5 pages, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I think it's enough. I think it's a good idea.
Well, especially coming out weekly, yeah.
But it's effectively what you would put in a monthly comic if it was a single title.
Yeah.
4 or 5 pages weekly. So, it works out okay.
I like the anthology system that we have. The 5 characters in it and 5 pages each and whatever it is, that kind of thing. I think it's good.
I don't know if they even hold to that nowadays.
The 77 does that, which is it was crowdfunded. I think it even ended up on shelves, like in WH Smith's and stuff.
Right.
But they're big fans of 2000 AD and Charlie's War and that kind of stuff. And they put together a book that was similar to 2000 AD. But I don't know how it's doing now.
It's the first time hearing of it. So
yeah, well, that's the way it is, isn't it? It's the first time. It's so difficult to market yourself these days.
Yeah.
Reaching out is an absolute nightmare. If you're not a large company, if you're not Marvel or DC or Titan or whoever, you basically, you can be completely anonymous. Even if you're selling a few books, you can still be completely anonymous.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep turning. Oh, that was a 3-pager. There.
All right.
Look at his face. Look, and the thing is that that's a cracking face. But the Sergeant Major's face. Look at him shouting.
Yeah.
And then you look on the previous page.
He's throwing a grenade around.
Yeah. Look on the previous page. down the left there, and he's shouting again. Yeah, but it's the same person. It's the same face.
Yeah.
And that's been redrawn.
Yeah.
There is no photocopying involved in this.
No.
That's right. Yeah.
There's probably if he's on a thick piece of board, there's no light boxing involved in this.
No.
Just drawn.
He's redrawn that, and it looks almost identical from a different angle. And that's
Have you read
impressive.
Alf Tupper, Russ?
No,
It's called Tough of the Track.
no.
Well, Joe Colquhoun, I'm going to say that guy with the cigarette at the top looks like Alf Tupper, and Joe Colquhoun drew that strip as well.
Oh, did he?
So, yeah, he draws everybody looking like they're working class people, doesn't he?
Yeah,
They're always
real
in that,
people.
Yeah, that kind of situation. And there's that sergeant again with that spiky thing, he's screaming at it. Look at him! Get your
I think you can see so many of the artists that followed on into 2000 AD would have been looking at this.
Yeah, sure they would.
Yeah, you can see a lot of that. So glad they didn't have a house style though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hotbed of creativity. It really was.
It's mad talent. Just great individual artists. Wow, that's tight.
This is full, isn't it? I mean,
he's smacking him with the little. It's that chicken. Looks like a chicken leg with little small mace for him to keep the troops in line.
Look at that horrible word balloon in the bottom panel there in one line. Isn't that awful?
Yeah,
look at that.
Terrible.
See, that's awful, isn't it?
It's probably typeset and cut out and pasted on.
Yeah, it's stuck on top.
Yeah, without doubt.
Yeah.
Awful. Wow.
Wonder if they go through and improve that in the later stories. Nope, stays like that all the way through.
And there's a guy with an axe. With a sniper, isn't he?
Yeah. He's got that face shield on.
Yeah. Little Englander.
Crazy. Look at the hatch work here. It's incredibly well done.
Yeah.
Here as well.
And then the helmet next to it. Look at the British helmet next to it.
This here is definitely brush right here because you can see it going from thick to thin.
Yeah.
Very much like Alex Raymond's background work on some of the Flash Gordon feathering like that. It's just it's not easy to do. It takes a steady hand and a lot of practice. There's a cross hatching here too. All through this. Of course, it looks like he was doing 3 pages a week, huh? No, all depends upon the story. This one's 5 pages.
He's doing other stuff as well, though, in the other comics. So he's doing a lot of work.
God,
I don't know. He's
must have been.
Probably a page a day, you'd think.
Yeah,
minimal. Yeah,
he'd have to, wouldn't he?
You'd have to.
So if you think he's probably doing, if he's doing a page a day, it's taking him a week to do this one slot, and that leaves him 3 weeks to do other stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, not if it's 4 pages a week.
Well, from what I understand, the way these books were constructed, they didn't start printing a story until it was all in house. So he might
certainly not 2000 AD. I don't know about the rest of them, but yeah.
He must have spent
He'd have had to have done the whole story.
Yeah, at once.
Yeah. Back when you could get paid for doing the job.
Yeah.
This is the stepladder design on the left. George says probably a page or so back says is great. Yeah.
Wow.
Very tight. A lot of story to cover.
Great use of blacks as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Look at that German fall down. That's into that, those steps into that.
Oh,
Mm.
sorry.
The way the guy's approaching him with his hand on the wall above him in the center
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah.
Just fantastic, isn't it? It's great.
There we go. Just fantastic stuff.
Is that the Sergeant Major there shouting again at the bottom?
It is. Yeah.
Get your haircut.
This is all the gray tone back here is all line work laid in. Yeah.
Wow. The Axeman cometh. That's what it'd be called if it was Stan Lee writing it, wouldn't it?
Or here there be the Axeman.
Yeah. Lo, there shall be an Axeman.
Yeah.
And he's not playing his guitar. Boom. Look at that. Wow. One of the best things that happens in this strip, I've not read them all, but is the way that if you imagine you're out there, that shell that has just, or that grenade has just landed and blows them up. I would imagine that kind of thing happened all the time. And in this strip, people, he meets people, and then the next panel they just get blown up.
Yeah.
And, and you're thinking, wow, this guy's a good guy, and then boom, he's gone. What's the Sergeant Major? Yeah, what's the Sergeant Major going to do with those that thing at that wire cutters? What's going to do with that?
Much. Don't be such a big baby, Jones. Promise this is.
Oh, I see. He's got his shrapnel.
Much. Anyway.
That explosion's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow.
I have a hardbound collection of is it Major Easy? Does that ring a bell? By Carlos Esquera?
Yeah, that rings a bell. Was that in battle?
Yeah. That was.
Yeah.
This reminds me a lot of it.
Yeah, you see, there's again. We said before about the quality and the quickness these things were. That's right. Is that a word? Quickness. The speed these were produced. Carlos Esquerra is the same. Cam Kennedy, all these people that Mike Noble and Frank Bellamy and all these people they must have had a time machine. They must have been a different time. But it's like I said to you about Jack Kirby. Ross said to me that when she used to watch him draw, it was like he was just tracing it. It was already on the board. He was just tracing it because his pencil didn't stop.
Yeah.
And you think the focus that these people must have.
Discipline.
Yeah, just draw all day.
What it is, yeah.
15 hours a day, just get it done. Boom. Start the next one.
Regular machines. Especially to be able to maintain detail and an individual style. It's just incredible.
I think the other aspect we often miss is that a lot of these people were realists. They'd seen life.
That's true.
They knew they had experience in life.
Yeah.
So when somebody said to them, or when they said to themselves, I might be spending 12 hours at a drawing board, they were thinking, but at least I'm not on a building site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
also, at least I'm not building bridges or digging
stores.
trenches or whatever.
And also some of these guys, I don't know which, but some of these guys would have had military service as well.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't tell Kirby how to draw a war comic, could you?
No. So the discipline.
No.
So the discipline was built in to a lot of these people because of either their, there'll be their military experience, but also just their life experience.
Yeah.
And they could see that. Whereas nowadays, it's life is a lot easier now than it was 50 years ago or 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And I sit and I draw all day, okay, and I draw from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening, 5, 6 maybe. And I go out to train three nights a week. And that's a fairly long day, 8 till 6. Okay. And I only really take Saturdays off. So I feel I'm disciplined, but it's nothing compared to what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And it's all because it's relative. Because relatively, work isn't as hard today as it used to be, physically as hard as it used to be. Okay, we all know that there's lots of different various things in stress and the modern world and all the rest of it. I'm not saying you got an easy life now. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that physically there just aren't as many of those physical jobs in the same way. So if you're an experienced person who's maybe even been out to war and you're thinking, yeah, I'll sit for 12 hours to 16 hours, whatever it is a day, and draw comics.
Yeah,
you just see it as an easier life, don't you? You see it as an easier process.
You know the football manager Bobby Robson, Russ. Well, he's from a mining back. He's from the northeast. His dad and his brothers worked down the mine, and when he was manager of Newcastle, Bobby Robson, he took all the club, all the players, juniors and senior players. Down 2 miles in a mine shaft and said to them, "What do you want to do? This or kick a ball about?"
Yeah,
he made them appreciate what they had.
Don't ever whinge that it's hard work.
Yeah,
because it isn't.
And don't be late, and things like that.
It's like it's the same old. It doesn't matter what it is. It's whether it's drawing comics or being an actor or working in some kind of service industry, as far as answering phones and that kind of stuff. None of it's hard compared to being a miner. Compared to I don't know, even being a doctor or a nurse, on call, being a fireman. Okay, these are hard jobs.
Yeah,
these are jobs that require real commitment and physical and emotional effort. And it's easy for it's great to hear people like Laurence Olivier, when he was alive, turning around and saying, "This is the easiest job in the world." I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
how awful you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and sit in your trailer while somebody puts makeup on you. Get a life.
Yeah,
wake up. It's a blessing. You're very fortunate to have this job.
Yeah, very privileged.
And I think if you've come from war, or you've come from, like Bobby Robson, from a background, and you think, yeah, okay, I'll do 14 hours a day drawing a comic book. That's fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. Don't worry about me. Bring me tea. I'll be fine.
Just bring me a sandwich and I'll eat it while I'm drawing.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. To be honest, I don't stop for lunch. I sit. My wife brings me lunch. It just works out that way, and I sit. I might listen to something appropriate, or check out some pages or whatever, while I'm actually stuffing the thing in my mouth, and then I'll get on with the work.
Yep. Look at that right hand cover. Look at the right hand. Yeah, the right hand, the bottom where the guys are marching.
Yeah.
The movement, those guys are really marching, aren't they?
That's I would say he's got photographic reference for that.
Yeah, they're not stiff, are they?
No. But that is a great image, yeah.
The tank.
Airfix club page inside. Airfix was so big back then.
Yeah.
What was Airfix?
It was
models,
plastic models that you stick together and paint and stuff like that.
Yeah. But were quite good though, weren't they?
They were
I mean, they
brilliant,
weren't
yeah.
rubbish. They were well made, and you clipped them together and glued them, and then you painted them, and you'd hang them off your ceiling or whatever.
There you go.
Me,
Yeah.
me and my two brothers had loads of. We had Junkers 88 and Spitfires and all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And when we were getting older, when we were sort of 15, my brothers were older than me. I was 15. We decided we didn't want these models anymore. So what we did, in the back garden, we lined them all up like they were on a runway. And the bits of plastic that the parts are connected to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you get like a skeleton. You know, you sort of twist the wing off, wouldn't you? It'd snap off,
Yeah.
and you're left with this like a straw size piece of plastic, the same
It's
as the wing.
like a plastic framing. It was a molded plastic.
That's right.
Panels.
Yeah.
Well, you probably know that if you light that, it sort of blobs when it drops in like fire bombs. And we used to just light one of these things, and it'd be smoking and be dripping because it was melting. And we just used to walk slowly over the top of these aircraft and see like we were doing a bombing run and see which you couldn't stop, and you'd be surprised how many times you miss. Like they really do. They rarely get it on target all the time.
No wonder they threw so many bombs.
Yeah, we were left with a fleet of Heinkel bombers, all with holes in the wings where this blob had hit the wing and then burnt through. You know, it's like Alien. It was like Alien. It just kept on burning. It's funny. We got left with a big pile of black plastic.
Yeah.
Them were the days.
We just used to get firecrackers and blow them up.
Yeah.
Another thing. A little bit of zip screen there on that action.
A friend of mine, we got some on bonfire night, Russ. We got some rockets, and he didn't fire it up. He put it at about 10-degree angle, and it hit somebody's back door and stuck in the back door on fire.
I remember going to a firework party early 90s. This was before all the safety was, isn't it? I went into some shop and said, I've got some fireworks. And he went, I said, you got any like big ones? And he looked either way. He went, hold on a minute, I'll just go in the back room. And he went in the back room, brought out this massive box of fireworks. And he went, I shouldn't have these. And he sold them to me. And I went to this party and we set off these fireworks. And good God, it was like a bombing raid. Jesus. Never got hold of them again.
No.
Probably made them illegal. Well, they probably were illegal at the time. So,
yeah, they just made them legal here in Michigan about 4 or 5 years ago. Now they have big department stores full of them.
Right.
Especially around 4th of July, because that's when everybody sets theirs off.
Yeah. Well, we've got. I mean, it's right because you've got to have some kind of management of them because people are stupid with them. But at the same time, nanny statism is a little bit sort of, you can't have fireworks in your own back garden because
I used to
some idiots set them off somewhere else.
I used to have a friend called Phil Haywood. He's not with us anymore, but he was one of those people. We used to have these things called a 3-2-1 cannon thing, and it was a mega banger, right? The banger was like a normal charge, wasn't it? Well, this was a mega one, and so Phil decided he'd buy 10 of these things. They're about 3 each, 3p each at the time. And he bought 10 of these things, and he decided he was going to see whether it went 3, 2, 1, boom. So he lit it, he held it, and he lit it, and he went off on 2, and his hand was black for about 4 weeks.
Good Lord.
It's lucky he still had a hand. Yeah.
Yeah. God.
What an idiot.
I was going to say, over here, we look at it as a form of Darwinism,
But he didn't complain.
Emergency rooms are filled with people that get fingers blown off.
That's right. He didn't complain that it went off and badly burnt his hand. He complained that it didn't do what it said. 3, 2, 1.
It didn't go off when it was supposed to. I don't care that I've lost an arm. It just didn't what it said on the. I wanted it to do what it said on the packet.
Exactly. Here's your yelling sergeant again.
Oh, he got boshed.
Kid getting bopped. Yeah. Oh, look at that profile. That's great.
That's the Sergeant Major again, isn't it? With his
Yeah,
without
it
his
is.
helmet
Yeah.
on, he's screaming again.
Talking about his gas masks. Yeah. Look at that face. It's crazy.
He looks a bit tough, that Sergeant Major, doesn't he?
Yeah. Grizzled. This guy here holding on to his helmet.
Come on. Beware snipers. Wow.
Is this framed around Charlie riding home? Is that what this
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Apparently, those gas masks weren't very effective, and most people used to get so warm they just used to take them off and
Yeah.
take the chances. You know, terrible.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, is that the Sergeant Major buried there?
Yeah, it looks like he got hit. Somebody that looks like him, at least.
It's just fantastic, isn't it? I mean, look at the way the explosions go off and everything, and
Yeah.
they're running on that little bridge thing over that there, yeah, over that where you just pointed first, at halfway down the middle panel, where they're running across that piece of wood to go over the trench, you know.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Ducking into a mine. Oh, what a lovely war. Revealed at last amazing facts and stories about World War One.
The girl's got crazy hair down the bottom right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's got a pharaoh head, inbred head. It's too long, isn't it? Is that kid nicking that copper's wallet?
Look over there, Copper.
So something there.
Cool, Jerry's copper.
Oh,
What's that guy doing falling in the bed? Can't read it. What does it say?
Oh, I can't read it either.
He landed
he's doing
safely
the.
in the bed.
He was doing the roof.
Yeah.
He's a roofer. He's just falling through.
All the what's that? Looks like 18-man crew were killed in the explosion, except for the helmsman who leapt from 300 feet, crashed through the roof of a convent, and landed safely on a bed. Man, that's mighty small letter.
Yeah. Wow. Revealed at last. This is like a Kirby thing, isn't it? Revealed at last. Amazing facts and stories about World War One.
Yeah.
Can you imagine those first German soldiers that when the mist cleared, those tanks were coming for them, and they could hear the noise and didn't know what it was, and then those big tanks were coming at them. Could you imagine the fear of that? Because they wouldn't know what they were. You know, the first time they were deployed. Imagine that. As if it wasn't bad enough, the shelling and everything. Come out.
Entry of the Iron Monsters. Yeah.
Little Willie.
Look at those tanks. They're bonkers. You see where George Lucas got some of his ideas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or Lucas's design people.
Design team, yeah.
Macquarie. Yeah, Ralph Macquarie.
But I mean, like you were talking about with the mask on that sniper.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the guys on Hoth, the
Yes.
stormtroopers with those things.
Oh, yeah.
And that
Just the slight deviations between different stormtroopers for different things.
Yeah, and that German tank there on the left in the middle looks like the top of one of those things on Hoth on the big legs. What they're called? Those.
Or the Jawas, the little Jawa Land Rover. They're not so little. Land Rover, just
the sand people's sand.
Enlarge that and shrink the treads down just a little bit. You're pretty. Just change the box, just air.
Yeah,
you're right there. Yeah.
Shall I tell you a story about the first tank?
Go ahead.
Go on then.
It's on film this as well. They filmed it. They designed this tank, and the king was there watching this, and it was moving. This tank was moving. People were inside it, the crew, putting it through its paces, and they said, the king said, how vulnerable is it? So they had these couple of Vickers machine guns, them big heavy machine guns again, and they fired hundreds and hundreds of rounds at the side of this tank, and all the bullets just bounce off. And they said, this is fantastic. And then they radioed to the crew to stop, and it didn't stop. And then it stopped when it hit a tree or were in a trench or something. And when they opened up the door, they were all dead because the bullets, because the skin of the tank was one sheet, so to speak. When the bullet impacted, the fragments on the other side of the sheet of steel splintered and cut the guys in the side to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
So after that, they learned to sort of double wall it, if you understand what I mean, leave a gap between, so that wouldn't happen. So.
That's a grim story, isn't it?
Yeah, those guys inside just got shot to pieces by their own people.
That's grim.
Yeah. Those explosions. Look at that. Boom, boom. See, this is where British comics win, you see, because like I said, any Marvel writer would have been Batum on that.
Yeah. Mm. Different times, so,
Yep.
And at this point, when this was made, Marvel was just starting to put a foothold into Britain, right? And their reprint books. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a great time for comics over there. You got Marvel, and then you've got the IPC working hard to catch up. Yeah.
These things were coming out when I'd stopped reading comics.
Okay.
So I saw them around, and I read a few of them, but I didn't. I got into it again 10 years later in the mid-'80s,
Mm-hmm.
So I missed a lot of this stuff first time around. I figured it was better to get on an aeroplane, go somewhere, than read a comic.
Floating heads.
Wow, fantastic.
Wow, look at that detail here. Just phenomenal. All of this, except for this top narration, he must have planned on a lot more room for the letterer up here.
Maybe he was just leaving that so it's not take away from the detail of these bottom panels.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, it looks like he either, like you say, either anticipated a lot more text or changed his mind. You know what I mean? But he'd already done the rest.
The script might have called for a large speech, especially if he didn't know how large the font was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, look here. He doesn't skimp on backgrounds at all. Just fully rendered all the way through. It's got a little when they're in the mine shaft here, it's got some solid blacks, but other than that, it's just crazy detail. Beautifully done. Yeah, that's hot. He's drinking. Line work here. It's all by hand.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The guy there with the walking stick, with the captain with the walking stick. Oh, it's Lieutenant Thomas. We'll find out about that. There's an interesting piece about Lieutenant Thomas, or Lieutenant Thomas, I should say.
Brushwork here.
What does he say there, that guy? He says, "Wake up, Charlie, it's 0 hour. It's time to die." Imagine that, you're asleep and somebody wakes you up and says, "Come on, it's time to die."
Yeah.
Wow.
This is probably a paste-in photostat.
Yeah. Funny way of spelling Charlie. Must be an Irish thing.
Oh, the S has been reversed here the whole time.
No, I'm talking about the Y.
Yeah.
I'd spell Charlie Lie.
Yeah. It's just the way they just his name spelt like that. Yeah. Didn't notice that before. No.
It's like you say, he does all the backgrounds, doesn't he?
Yeah. 4 tiers here. Yeah. Still real
God,
tight.
look
A lot
at
of
that.
story that he's moving. Look at that face. It's a look at terror.
Look at that centre panel there. It's struck right across the page.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great. It's amazing if he's doing that a page a day.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
Well, they're
crazy, incredible.
Playing football, aren't they? That's one of the stories, isn't it? They kick footballs out, and they were playing football as they were running towards the Germans. And then there was that story about those Germans that were again frightened out of their mind because the Scottish Highlanders all stood up when they had kilts on and they were playing bagpipes as they marched towards them, and the Germans couldn't cope with it, and they all ran away. Apparently, they couldn't cope with the noise and the fact that these soldiers were playing these instruments and wearing skirts.
Mm.
The British Devils.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the top.
Do you know, I'd like to see an exhibition with this kind of stuff, with Joe Colquhoun's work on.
On display. Yeah.
Incredible, wouldn't it? Over the top. Wow. The only thing that rivals this artwork is that Frank Bellamy stuff from that First World War book he did. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. There's a colour. There's lots of colour drawings in it, but there's one particular one with some French soldiers all getting mown down. It's absolutely incredible. Incredible drawing.
I don't have that. I've got his High Command book, though, that's got the history of Churchill and Montgomery in it.
Yeah, it's good, yeah. Is that German in the centre panel next to the machine gun? Has he got a pipe? Is he smoking his pipe? Yeah, that guy there. Not the machine gunner, the one next to him. Has he got a pipe? He hasn't. He's got his pipe. He must be really clever.
Here?
Yeah. Is he smoking a pipe?
No,
or is it just? Is it?
Yeah, he might. Yeah, right there.
I
Again,
suppose you would. I suppose you would, wouldn't you?
He don't care, he is.
He's dead anyway, so he might as well smoke his pipe.
it calm your nerves, right?
Well, yeah, until your gun jammed.
Only if it had marijuana in it.
Yeah.
Definitely what it is. Nicotine has kind of that effect on some people. Maybe not quite as hard as marijuana, but yeah, regular tobacco.
Well,
Oof.
well, is he trapped, that guy at the bottom? Is he stuck in the barbed wire?
Yeah. Then this guy he's about to toss a grenade. He got hit with another one in the face. Smack.
It's pretty gruesome, isn't it?
Yeah. That was par for the strip, right? The horrors of war.
Yeah.
That's what they really wanted to drive home.
Brutal.
Yeah. Right here, he's being cut down. That's the guy in the barbed wire.
Yeah.
Oof. He's got a warlust face working there. Let me see your war face. Yeah.
Wow.
He's roaring right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
God, that fire. Wow.
Oh. Flamethrower.
Crazy tight.
Wow. It's like you said, Russ, it's the lighting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all the lighting. There's
That explosion there.
everything.
Wow. And the way, and the flamethrower guy, the first panel, the way the flame is in a straight line, it's sort of going up towards him, isn't it? Well, it is a straight line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's good. You can see it's going to fall, like on a curve, can't you?
Yeah.
Yes, it's brilliantly done.
It's brushwork here. The feather
Beautiful.
around the explosion.
Wow.
Not afraid to place that balloon right in the middle of what you're looking at there. Flop. Of course, you'd want that action to show the top of the trench. You'd want to show that. So what are you going to do? Probably put it lower, and then you'll lose out on that detail. Probably put it wherever the safest place he thought he could. It's probably be a little bit of white out here, a little bit of white paint stripes in front of that gun.
Yeah.
It looks like they took a 5-page story and cut it into 3 pages. Just really tight stuff here. Really compressed storytelling.
Getting your money's worth.
Absolutely.
Has he signed it at the bottom of that page with that fella's
Yeah, he
phone?
did. Right there. Sure did.
Look at that. Is he going to... I want vengeance, right? Oh dear. But there was a lot of that going on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody'd say anything.
It's part of the horrors of war, right?
Yeah, that's very interesting panel there. You see the one where it's the fourth panel, where it's the side of his head and the Germans surrendering, The way that his bayonet goes into the panel below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really clever thing, that, I think, because it shouldn't be in the one below, should it? It's a nice piece.
No, but it is a natural arrow.
Yeah.
Bringing you down. Composition wise, it's really clever. And especially with these panel borders here being like explosions for all the action that's happening. Yeah. It's really a well thought out page. Just enough of this to put it in the middle, and yet it's so detailed. So feathered by a brush here, steady hand.
Oh, he hasn't run him through, has he? He's stopped him.
Yeah.
No.
He's about to skewer Charlie and get stopped. That's what this looks like. You know that.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oof. Got him.
Great shot. And here too, known to fade this out.
Yeah. No prisoners.
It's a lesson in inking right there. The crosshatch work, the feathering in the back. Just
Do you want some more trivia? See that helmet? See that German helmet at the end?
Okay. Yeah.
See that spike on top?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that was for?
Skewering people?
No, it was for when you went into their trench and his top of his head would be there, and you might catch your foot on the top of his head and skew your foot.
Oh yeah.
What an ingenious thing. But like a
You have to say there was an awful lot of forethought from the Germans about this.
yeah.
It wasn't like they just accidentally fell into war, was it?
Not really, no.
It's like, I know, let's make all the helmets so that if somebody jumps into the trench, they might get skewered in the foot.
Yeah.
Oh, and while we're there, let's put bolts on there so that we can have some chemical weapons.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like they weren't messing about.
No.
They were loaded for bear, as they say.
Set metallic faceplate in front of the sniper's face. That's something. Yeah.
Yeah. And like you say, you could also take your helmet off and use it as a weapon. And I mean, you could do that anyway, couldn't you? But with that thing on the end of it, you'd be doing something. They're always moving, aren't they, these soldiers in this strip? They're always moving.
Yeah. Well, again, that heightens the action here. This guy takes a blast.
Grenades.
Lots of grenades. The pins are popping out too, it looks like. Oh no. The explosion's shaking.
I don't think the pins have come out like that.
Some flipping pins out. Yeah. I'll throw that box at the enemy in a hurry.
I know what he does with it. I won't say. You'll see now.
Yeah.
He's giving it to Charlie. Say, yeah, get hold of this. Oof. Lighting again on that last panel. Oh, he's gone for the
The
booby trap, the helmet, haven't
Yeah.
they? Ooh. But there was a lot of that as well. Wow.
Man.
This artwork is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like every
It's
time
really-
you turn the page, it just gets crazy.
It's really
tighter.
getting into it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
That face. It's great.
Is that the Sergeant Major with the German helmet on?
Probably. He's holding up the mine, waiting for everybody to get out and the Germans to get in, it looks like. He crushes him here.
Oh dear. They're going to get him, aren't they? Oh. Oh. Sniper.
Dent in his helmet here.
The other guy gets it.
Yeah. Dead Sarge.
Wow. Mad Mick held this house.
He holds
Wow.
it still. Yeah. Wonder why they reverse the S's here.
Oh. They can do it all the time. Wow.
Hmm.
Charlie's War.
Appears in battle every Thursday. Back then, 83. There's the list of Titan reprint books that they had done to date as of this printing.
I've got those. I think I've got those.
So we'll look at these ABC Warriors sometime real soon. That's a great series.
Yeah, I've got that on the
So
back
much
of this
fun.
one here. Actually, at that time, I actually bought all of the Judge Dredd ones, all 7 of them.
Well, I was picking them up wherever I could find them. Here's the back of the Charlie's War book too.
Oh,
They've
right,
got a whole-
that's
They've got a whole list.
huge.
Yeah, they're reprinting. Well, they got 22 Judge Dredd books alone.
So that's 3 years difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Robo Hunter, ABC Warriors, Robusters, Rogue Trooper,
yeah.
Strontium Dog, Robo Hunter, Nemesis, Slain.
A young Rutger Hauer would have been a good rogue trooper, wouldn't he?
He would have.
He was supposed to be. There was a that was in production. There was a lot of talk about him being Rogue Trooper.
Tell you, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but on YouTube, there's a couple of fan-made films that are quite good.
There's an
Yeah.
incredible Strontium Dog. fan
Yeah,
film
the
up
Strontium
there, too.
Dog
Just
one is
nice.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
I'll
Oh,
drop you the link.
Yeah, is there a rogue trooper one as well?
Yeah, there's a Rogue Trooper one, and I'll drop you the link.
Brilliant.
Here we go.
Yeah, if that's, I keep saying that, you know, all you hear here in the States is Judge Dredd, when there were all these great properties at 2000 AD that they should have done. You know, you kick out a Rogue Trooper movie now or a Strontium Dog movie now, people freak. I mean, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
If they did it properly.
Well,
yeah, if they followed the book, yeah, absolutely.
David Bowie's son was working on Rogue Trooper, wasn't he?
I think
Was
so.
he?
Yeah.
Duncan Jones, yeah, he was. It's supposed to be in pre-production, but it's been in pre-production about 10 years now.
Rogues had been in production off and on since the 80s. They just can't seem to get it off the ground.
I just wish that just
It's like Dune.
what they've got. They can't. They always have to seem to change it and everything. And just make it.
All they
Just
got to do
make
is
it the
adapt
way
the
it was
comic.
done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is
Exactly.
why we
Just
like
make
it.
it.
You know.
Yeah, just
You know,
adapt
it's
the
like
comic.
it's like they sit down, don't they, and they think, "What's popular about this strip? Change it." You know,
It's like that latest Judge Dredd one, you know, the most recent one with Carl Urban in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's okay, but I don't personally think it captures Judge Dredd from 2000 AD. I mean, it's a perfectly serviceable film. It has Judge Dredd. I mean, the image, Carl Urban is great as Dredd.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take his helmet off.
Right.
There are aspects of it that are great, okay, but in some ways, the Stallone film kind of it had aspects of the craziness of the 2000 AD strip.
Some of the
The
writing.
fact it was,
Yeah.
it was just a little bit wacky. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With having the Angel Gang and all the rest of it, it was a little bit wacky, and that's what the Carl Urban one missed.
Mhm.
It was very, very serious.
Yep.
And we all know that Judge Dredd is part tongue in cheek. It's part fun, and both films missed the mark. If you could combine the two films, and also the fact that it really was just a copy of that other film's story, rather than
Raid.
rather than bringing a Judge Dredd story to the fore. I mean, you got to admit that the Sylvester Stallone one, you know, it had Hammerstein in it. It had the ABC Warrior in it.
Mhm.
It was a particular story where they brought his brother back,
Yeah.
and all these things. You know, I there was a story that was very similar, and it was about framing Dredd, and that was actually in the comics. So you've got to give them some credit for at least trying. Do you know what I mean? There was some effort there.
Yep.
Whereas as against the Carl Urban one was like, okay, let's copy the Raid and make it really gritty and make sure that, you know, he doesn't take his helmet off. Great, brilliant, you absolutely nailed that. But it still wasn't Dredd. It still wasn't the comic strip. And just like Glenn and you were saying just now, just make it, will you?
Yeah.
Just make it. But the trouble is now, I mean, you wouldn't get past the meeting of the producers who would say, "Oh, you can't have that in a film."
Well, the thing I learned real quickly about Hollywood is that the people up there all want to put their own little personal touch on it, and it's usually incredibly wrong.
Yeah, because they haven't got their own thing.
Exactly.
So they want to leave their mark on Batman or Superman or Judge Dredd or whatever, and it's like, no, you didn't make that. Have the respect and produce it the way it should be done. This isn't about people getting crappy about, oh, don't touch my stuff because that was what I had when I was a kid. No, it's not about that. It's just about respecting intellectual property for what it was. Canon is important. And if you are a good enough writer to write within the canon and create new things and make it exciting, not retrofitting stuff, actually writing within the canon, then do it. Make it great, okay? Otherwise, leave it the hell alone and make something new.
Well, that's
you know, and some of the problem with Hollywood, or a lot of the problem with Hollywood, is because it's run by bean counters. Nobody wants to take a risk on anything new.
Yeah,
if we hadn't have had risky, you know, things going on, we'd have never got Star Wars.
That's right.
It's the whole 70s and 80s.
And it's also relative to Doctor Who, isn't it now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
just a panda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not what it used to be. It really isn't. I don't know.
It's not Doctor Who, is it?
It isn't. Not really. No. I mean, you know, the first thing that I thought was wrong with it was trying to make out it was drama. And it's like, no, it's not part of BBC drama. I don't care whether it was always technically part of BBC drama or not. No, it was always a family show. where kids could sit with their parents and watch some science fiction and hide behind the sofa because the Daleks came out. Right? It isn't drama in that. It isn't drama like, I don't know, I can't think of anything because I don't watch any telly. But it isn't, like any kind of drama that you would expect. It's fantasy, it's science fiction, it's fun, and then putting it on at 8:00 in the evening, that works well. Yeah, well done.
Now I've got another book. We're about half past the second hour. We can save this for next week if you want.
Yeah, save it. Yeah.
Save
Save
it,
it. I've got pages to do.
There. So speaking of Dread, this Sunday for Sunday Funnies,
We're going to fill you with it.
I thought we'd go through this volume.
Oh, look at that. Brian Bolland, look at that.
Oh, I have that. That is such a fine volume.
We're going to go through this on Sunday Funnies this week, folks, 9 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
We'll be live. Judge Dread, Judge Death, all sorts of great dreadness, all by the great Brian Bolland. So you don't want to miss that.
I like the way he's done his shoulder defense thing with bones on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a wonderful, wonderful design. They just did such a good job on it.
Fantastic. Yep.
That just to get people's appetites wet. Just show them that spread with the 4 judges. Just show it. Don't show anything else. Just show that. It's just so good.
It's going to take a second here to find it.
But we won't leave you in silence, of course, while you're waiting for that.
No, I'm still looking for it. It's not in the first.
We've got some great stuff to
first
go
death
through from
story.
2000 AD.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
Oh,
There's so much good stuff.
So much more than just Dread, too. So.
Oh yeah.
Huh. Well, there we are. I'm not finding it.
Is it not in there? It wasn't in the second one, was it? It wasn't in the.
I believe it was in the second one.
Oh no! In that case, that there's only one spread that you can see, and that's. Oh no, I'm trying to think how it started. There's just so many good bits and pieces in it. Yeah, just show the one bit.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
It's fantastic work.
Just brilliant.
We'll look at that on Sunday. Some of the best classic Judge Dredd stories drawn by Brian Bolland.
Yeah. I have to say I consider Bolland the definitive Dredd artist personally. I know he didn't create it. I know Esquerra was the man, but for me, yes, Esquerra on
I think it's got a lot of different
dog.
Yeah.
That's the.
I think it's got a lot of different eras, Dredd especially, that different points in time, almost like different characters.
Wow.
Everybody seemed to draw him just a little differently in their own style.
Yeah, but that was part of the charm because they all got away with it.
Yeah,
it
certainly was. Yeah,
you never picked it up and thought, no, that's not Judge Dredd.
No,
it was a lot different. Like
in all fairness, it was the helmet and a chin.
Yeah. Because when you look at the difference between, say, what's he called, Ron Smith and Cam Kennedy's Dredd.
Yeah,
both are definitive. Both are just beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mick McMahon in there, and you've got Brian Bolland and Esquerra and all these people. That's, to me, that's part of the charm of the series, that so many artists worked on it, yet they all put their own style on it.
Yeah.
But nobody ever balked at it, as far as
No. It's because it was comics. People just enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was just good.
Martha's in the chat says, I wonder if there was a crossover between Who and Dredd. I don't think there was. I know Dredd did a Batman crossover.
I would hope not.
Dredd did an Alien crossover and a Predator crossover.
wish
Says
they'd leave things alone.
They have all the pre-reboot Doctor Who episodes on Tubi. Most of them are on Pluto as well. So yeah.
That's what the latest series should be on Pluto.
Yeah, probably. Literally, the planet, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the art in those old Judge Dreads. Yeah, just amazing work. That all the 2000s in general just had great stuff in it. I wonder if there was ever a crossover between Who and Dread. Nope. But I guess there's one coming with Who and Trek. So we'll see. At least in the comics. Suddenly the TARDIS goes up on the bridge of the Enterprise. Yeah.
That's not a thing that should be happening. I'm sorry.
Another one I won't be reading.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, they're all a mess. They're all a mess anymore anyway.
But you're crossing over in that way. It's not healthy for a license.
I don't mind Spider-Man meeting the Hulk or Captain America, because that's like the same thing, isn't it?
Same universe.
But what's Doctor Who got to do with Star Trek? Star Trek. What's he got to do with that?
That's because nobody thinks in science fiction anymore. They just think in fantasy.
Just trying to get the fans in, aren't they? Just trying to get the fans in to buy it. That's amazing.
In fact, science fiction, the worlds would not coincide because they can't.
Yeah.
But there you go. There's a particular feel to Doctor Who up until 2012 or whatever. There was a particular feel to it, and it's been lost.
The last Who I watched was Eccleston.
Oh right, okay, that far back. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen. I like the Van Gogh bit. That section where he could take him to the Louvre to see that stuff, or wherever they take him to see his own work. I think that's one of the best pieces of TV I've ever seen. To tell you the truth, that particular sequence with Bill Nye, but the whole thing, I've never watched it all. I never watched Tennant. Never watched a whole story with Tennant in it.
A good friend of mine who's been in the industry for an awful long time made the point. They went wrong with Doctor Who, and this is an unpopular perspective because everybody loves Tennant. Okay, Tennant was good fun. He was great.
Yeah,
but his point of view was they made the massive error of making Doctor Who about the actor and not about the character.
Yeah.
And as soon as they made that error, that was where the fall started, because you shouldn't be worried about who's going to play the Doctor. You should be concerned about what's the story, where's the character going.
Yeah, but that was always that was always the big hook when they were switching doctors before, though.
Yeah, well, but it wasn't about the actor. No, the actor played the Doctor differently, so you were interested in what the Doctor was going to be next.
Yeah.
So the actor was facilitating effectively a different character or a different aspect of the Doctor's character. But as soon as it becomes this person's going to play it, and you have 6 months of this and that about who's going to be the next Doctor, who isn't, and then it's all about the first night and what. It's like no, that shouldn't be what you're worried about. You should be concerned about the story.
Yeah. They did that with the two films in the 60s when they had Peter Cushing playing, because Peter Cushing was obviously a big name.
Yeah,
and William Hartnell wasn't, so they changed it. And I'm not sure about that, but I've noticed something about these two covers. They put the S the right way around, haven't they, on Charlie's?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
that's because that's been typeset.
Yeah, they probably thought we don't want to get in trouble with people ringing up saying what's all this about,
That's definitely typeset, though, isn't it? Whereas the other one's drawn. So
yeah. Well, I've got an idea. Use the original logo. How about that?
Yeah, there's
because when you see this, you don't see Charlie's War straight away, but you do when you see the logo inside.
I love it's painted as well. Beautiful painted covers. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
That's a better cover. Use that.
Did Colquhoun go through and paint these?
I don't know. I don't
know. Wouldn't surprise me if he did.
It looks
like is it Cam Kennedy or
Ian Gibson?
Ian Gibson, sorry.
Yeah,
that looks like Ian Gibson.
It's not Cam Kennedy, I'll tell you that.
No, that looks like Ian Gibson's work.
Yeah, it does a bit, yeah. Does it tell you in the forward anything?
No. unless it's buried here in the editorial.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if it's in the back. Nope. But that looks like Ian Gibson right there.
Does, yeah.
That face. Yeah.
It's that lighting in the face, isn't it? It's like Halo Jones type of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for a signature and I'm not seeing it. Mails published. Yeah, there's no credit that I see. Nope. Again, it's not in the first volume either. But that really does look like Gibson's work here.
Yeah, I'd lay
Beautifully
money
done.
on it.
Look at how well that's painted.
Do you know
Gorgeous.
the giveaway for me is his face.
Yeah.
That's a Gibson face.
Yeah, it's that lighting and everything, yeah.
Hmm.
We'll
Yeah,
find
he was
out.
doing
That's a
covers.
lovely painting.
He did some other covers for them at this point, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if that's who it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He did a Garth one as well.
Yeah.
I've got one of these sets with Garth on it. It's by Ian Gibson, a painting.
Beautiful though.
Yeah.
Great work, folks. We're going to look at Charlie's War Book 2 next week. So stop back by. Let's see. Still in the chat, Martha said, wish you would do that old black and white style inking where the color is just gratuitous. Yeah. Surprised they didn't throw Steven Universe in there.
Mhm.
Ugh. Yeah.
Ugh.
Says, I bought that one at a flea market. That poor judge lady got sealed in the plastic. Oh, yeah, well, don't give that away. We'll look at that on Sunday. Yep. We'll look at it then. Like I said, Sunday, Judge Dredd, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Adjust your alarm accordingly. And next week at 5 a.m., next Friday, we'll look at Charlie's War Book 2.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. Yeah. All right. Want to thank everybody for stopping by. Deeply appreciate you. We got good numbers this morning. So glad you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, tell your friends. We're here every Friday morning, and we're archived over at the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel, the Randy Zim YouTube channel, and the Indie Comics Network. Please, wherever you're watching us, subscribe, hit that like button. Leave a comment if there's something that you want to see us look through. We do it 2 times a week, looking through great sequential art, just to inspire us and remind us how fantastic this art form is. We deeply appreciate you stopping by. So, Russ, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me at russleach.com. Sign up for the email list there so I can keep you up to date with what's going on with the Atlantean. And also where you can pick up other versions of the Shadow Kingdom. There's a rather lovely hardback version available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble if you want to check that out. Or just go straight to the Critical Blast website, criticalblast.com, and look at their lovely library of books. But if you want to find out what's going on with the Atlantean, we'll be going to crowdfunding at the end of this month. And you can find out more about that by signing up to the email list at russleach.com. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Glenn, tell folks how they can find you.
Just about everywhere on the web. But if you want to get in touch with me, you can get this.
OnlyFans.
Charlie's War. Not OnlyFans, no. Charlie's War article in Crikey from 19...
Yeah, go get one of them. Yeah.
2008. This is another one that I've got to take over to America. For Randy, my luggage cost is going to be more than the ticket. But anyway,
it'll be heavier going back. I'm promising you.
Yeah, you can. If you put my name in Google, you'll find loads of things. But you can get me mainly on Amazon. I've got 12 books on there, different subjects, comics and assassinations and children's books, all kinds of things. And you can find me on Facebook and all those kind of things. And these wonderful programs Friday morning and Sunday afternoon with these two guys.
Yeah. We deeply appreciate you stopping by. I've been your host, Randy Zimmerman. Let me readjust my camera here. There we are. You can find my work over at aerocomics.store. Just go over there and take a look. You can look at oh, there it goes. No.
Oh,
I just knocked it off of my board. How do you like
that? It's gone black. Oh no.
Look at Russ for a second. There we are. It's still early for me, folks. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
This is a professional outfit.
Very professional. Ah,
look at my monkey.
Only the best.
Oh, look, there you go. Shadow Kingdom. Go buy it now. You can get a lovely hardback version of this beautiful book that we lovingly crafted. There you go. But he's cut me off.
Lovingly crafted. Absolutely.
Oh.
Yep.
No, it's too late. You've done the damage now.
I have. Just knock the thing right over too. So, you don't want to see more of my cruddy basement down here. But anyway, folks, oh man, my camera's not staying still for nothing.
Just leave it alone.
I'll just leave it alone.
Don't move. Don't breathe.
We'll see you on Sunday, folks, for Sunday Funnies, where we'll look at some great Judge Dredd material. If there's something else you want us to look at, leave a comment wherever you're watching us from. Tell your friends that we're here. Our numbers aren't, we can always have more people watching us. We deeply appreciate you. We're not monetized for this program, so I'm not trying to hawk you into watching us just so that we can get money out of YouTube or whatever. We do this because we love it. We love this art form. We love doing comics and being part of this wonderful industry, though it, or at least working on this wonderful art form. I'm not so sure about being part of this industry sometimes with the stupid drama and stuff. And folks, go out there and talk positively about comics. This is a great art form. Tell folks about it. If you've got comics that you love, tell folks about the comics that you love. So
there's a lot to go at.
There's so much out there that we haven't even covered yet. And we barely scratched the surface. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. Here goes my camera again. Stupid thing. Anyway, I'm sure there's a screw on there that anyway, I got a screw loose as it is. Just ask my wife. There we are. Folks, we're going to see you on Sunday. Have a great weekend. Deeply appreciate you stopping by. Go look at the Indie Comics Network. If you get a chance, also go over to fundmycomic.com. Then take a look at the fine campaigns that are over there. They need your love and support as well. There's some great products over there waiting for you to buy in on. So fundmycomic.com. Go over there and take a look. So, and again, we appreciate you being here. Take care. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. This is Martha says
it's Friday the 13th today, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I dropped my camera. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The old Star Trek wasn't too different from the 60s Doctor Who. No, they both had land on a planet controlled by a mysterious despot type episodes. Old Trek had back in time episodes too. They just land on a planet with different things, whatever they had sitting around in the studio. You know,
find the alien girl and ask her if she knows what a kiss is.
We got a bunch of old gangster costumes and a set in the back lot. Let's do a gangster story. Okay. You know,
tell me, Kirk, what is this kiss?
Yeah, Gangster Planet and holodeck. Absolutely.
Yep. Why? Let me show you.
That Kirk.
Was it? I held it roughly 3 hours.
They've got a great video on YouTube where William Shatner critiques everybody else's imitation of him. That's pretty funny. I don't understand where he gets that at all. You know, what kind of an imitation is that? That kind of thing. Did they pull up Belushi and everybody that's done parodies of him? He's like, what the heck? You know, it's hilarious.
And he's 93 now, isn't he, Bill Shatner?
Well, yeah.
He's great. I love him. He's fantastic.
My captain, oh my captain.
What it is, boy. George, take care. Everybody, take care. Martha, thanks again for stopping by. Deeply appreciate you. Miss you, Sarah. What's going on? And Scott, Rosema, where the heck are you?
Yeah, where the hell is Rosema?
Start setting your alarm.
That was Rosa in that spacecraft, that spacecraft doing that spacewalk.
Ah,
Is that what it
right.
is?
Okay. It sounds like a
Probably was.
90s sitcom. Where the hell is Rosema?
Exactly.
Used to do a comic. Used to do a
Filmed in
comic.
front of a studio audience.
Yeah. You could have him like Alf Garnett.
Yeah, it looks a bit
Exactly.
like.
Say what?
See ya.
Russ? Take care, everyone. See you soon. That's not it. Where is it? I'm gonna have to make this easier to find. Here we are.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, with theory.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
How dare you?
Get off my lawn.
How many times a week do I eat butter sausage? I can't count that high.
It means you're a catcher, not a pitcher.
Bye, Jack.
We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we, Wayne?
No horseshit, Jack.
No horseshit.
If you look at something and there's nothing there, what's the difference of figuring out what it was in the first place?
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.